This episode of Pinball Shenanigans is brought to you by Lepsol, an all-purpose cleaner that is powerful cleaning and refreshing and even tastes like lemons. I'm Mike Dimas, and this is Pinball Shenanigans. All right, I am back for another episode of Viking. Whoa. Voltaire? No. Voltan. What's this game called again? Viper, that's right. And I spent a good half of my lifetime dealing with Circus Voltaire recently, so had to take a break on this machine. But I am back, and we're just going to cut right to the chase. Let's do some stuff and things. Let's not talk for 20 minutes. Let's act, you know? I think the first order of business, perhaps, might be jumping the gun here, but I would like to take apart this ball walker mech and just clean it up and make sure it's all happy, because I did notice in previous play testing that when the forks were up, they would kind of come down slowly. So I thought, like, it seemed to be working okay at the moment, but does feel like a little bit of resistance there. So we're going to take it apart, clean it, and, you know, a lot of gunk gets in these pivot points here. And we're going to make sure that this ball walker mech is 100%. I am kind of procrastinating because what I really should be doing is finishing the LEDs. They're all installed, but only half of them friggin' work. So I'm going to need to really, you know, I don't know, change some lamp sockets. I'm going to have to do some socket mods. I have to figure out the best way to deal with these types of sockets. Maybe I'll make a post about that. Because I did try to add a little bit of solder between the base and the barrel. You can see a little bit of solder remnants there. I dremeled it, and then I tried to add solder, but I don't know, there's so much metal here, it's hard to heat the area up enough to take the solder well. Maybe I gotta cake it in some flux. Maybe that's all it takes, but I didn't have much luck, so I aborted that mission. So I'm gonna procrastinate on the LEDs for now, but let's get to work on Viper. Yeah, that's what it's called. All right, here we have the infamous ball walker mech used on Flight 2000, and Freefall, I think, is another one. It's a lot more simple than I imagined it when I first heard of and saw the ball walker mech in action on Flight 2000. But as you can see, it's definitely gummy. Not sure what it is, but this spring doesn't look all that happy. I wonder if that was replaced. I think these are the original screws that will go in this mech, because guess what? You can't put a nut driver on them, so I mean, these screws are the same. Look at that. They got a little PP on it. A little PP. And we get a little P here. And so maybe they are original, but how the F? What the F? What's one to do? I'm going to, what about the other side? Slotted screws. I want to think that these should have been slotted screws, so you can actually take this stupid thing apart. I will figure something out. This bar here looks a little bit bowed out here. See how this nipple is sticking out? Hardly at all. That's like almost a innie. And over there we got an outie. And over here we got an outie. So I don't think that's gonna make or break things, but it is an observation. And then the coil winding is a little bit out. That doesn't concern me really. I'll just wrap that good. But anyway, I think I'll just take it apart. Maybe throw this sucker right in the ultrasonic cleaner, my new favorite tool. Okay, so here's what's going on. So checking out this coil, definitely looks like it's heated up at one point in time. Well, the original sleeve that was in there does go in okay. Not great though. So it is a little swollen. I tried to like file it out a little bit to make this go in a little better, but that just was futile and was not working at all. I checked the manual. Let's see if I have it still pulled up here. Can't see my password. It's very, very complicated. And you wouldn't be able to figure it out even if I showed you. Okay, I lied. It's like 4 digits. But check this out. We got ball walker 28-300. So this is the correct coil. But upon closer examination, I noticed this corner is missing, and I thought that might have been factory. But if you look close, it looks like it was broken off. That's because this is what an original coil is supposed to look like. It's got the Stern logo on it. It's round, not square. And yeah, so instead of trying to fudge with this, I know I've seen Eric Thorne at District 82 do a little demonstration with a drill, and he literally drills out a little bit of the bobbin to make room, because the coil itself tests okay, right? Like, I don't know if I can do the old one-handed thing here, but that is 36 ohms. And if you compare it to this guy here, 35 ohms. So the coil itself is fine. It just got a little hot once upon a time. It swole up. So I can save this maybe once upon a day. I can drill it out and get a sleeve in there, because like a different sleeve, this is the original one, a different sleeve doesn't even want to go at all. So I went digging. It took me like 15 minutes to search through all my coils, and look at this. That goes in no problem. So we've got ourselves a good original coil to replace this bad boy. Now, check this out. Ball walker Mech post a sonic cleaning. Here's the spring that went in there. I looked for another one, but I didn't find one that was similar, so I'm gonna just stick with this one, even though it's a little bit bent. I just cleaned the old sleeve, coil stop, but this guy is nice and free and clear. Some of this stuff just does not come on. It's just like, I don't know, stain or something, but Sonic Cleaner did its thing, and I'm very happy with how it looks. I mean, I could, just for cosmetic sake, try and clean these forks a little bit better. Hey, wait. Wait a minute. Oh, this little small fork, but this last guy doesn't have a small fork. Okay. It's not broken. I thought for a millisecond maybe it was broken, but that's how it's designed. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to put this back together with the new coil and then install it. Okay, before I install it, just wanted to show off the new action. Look at that. That thing ain't sloggy anymore. It is nice and snappy. So, much better. Alright, there it is. Soldered back up and installed. Nice to have the original coil and one that actually is not swollen and works properly. So, yeah, very happy with that. Whoa, my my god, this literally could be a tornado. Alright, I've been away for a while. I went to Manitoba and played in the weekend-long Manitoba Pinball Championships. Got me some hardware for 7th place in the 1 match play main event. Then I played the little side tournament, the 10 strikes, and I got 6th place. No hardware, no cash for that. This came with $55 cash. And then in the actual main event, the Herb style pump and dump, check this out. 4th place. Got me some more hardware. How cool is that? And that also came with 315 Canadian loonies. Gotta love it. So I was up in the Final Four up against Jack Tadman, like number 25 in the world, and Luke Nahornyak, number 7 in the world, and Drew Sitch, who was running the show, and it was at his place, home field advantage. I'm calling it. And he is about 400th in the world. So that was the Final Four. And yeah, I couldn't get through any of these guys. So 4th place it is. Anyway, time to get back to Viper. And I think I'm going to work on some LEDs. I got to get all the LEDs working beautifully. That's my goal. That's my plan. And what I think I'm going to do is, because I don't know if all the SCRs are good on the old lamp driver board. So we've got this freshly refurbed lamp driver board from Brent Butler. We know this is 100%. So I'm going to pop that in there, and maybe magically some of the LEDs that aren't working right now may start working, because it's not a socket issue. It's not a bulb. Well, we know it's not a bulb issue. All the bulbs are new. It's not a repinning issue. If some lights start magically working, then we know it was probably just an SCR. So first things first, let's pop in this board and see if we get any improvement. Okay, we haven't actually seen what the LED job looks like since I installed them all. So let's have a look and see what it actually looks like. I'm going to open the back box so that glare is not there. Or am I? Oh, it's going to want balls. Does it got balls? You got balls? Should have balls. If it doesn't stop, then it doesn't have balls. Alright, I'll be right back. Okay, yes, the balls were in the cabinet. Oh, that reminds me. I removed these 2 leg plates. They go on the corners on either side here on the inside, because I use longer bolts than factory. I'm going to use brand new bolts. And these kind of block the bolts, and these ones are thick. And I'm just going to end up stripping the threads if I don't remove these. And if you don't know why these are installed, it is because people are freaking clever in the arcade in 1981. They would literally take off a leg bolt and then stick a wire in there and manage to like finagle it to the point where I guess it would short the coin switch and get free credits. This is a security device, but we don't really have to worry about that in this day and age. So it is not required, and it's just going to get in the way of my longer leg bolts. So remove these guys. Don't need those. But let's see what the LEDs look like. For the first time, I'll turn that off. My back door doesn't want to stay open. I'll try and hold it. I'll try and multitask here. So what do we have not working? For sure, we got 6 and 4 are not working. 3's good. 1 and 2 are good. We're missing. It really shows differently on the camera. It's so weird. All these lights are working, I promise. Not all of them, but all these spinner lights. That is just weird. Why does it not show? No? Gotta zoom out. Okay, well, you're gonna just have to take my word for it, but these are all working except for 20, 40. These guys are working. We don't got 8. 3000 is a little dim. 2000 is a little dim. This guy's not working. This guy is dim, not working. These 3 are good. Oh yeah, remember I went through extra trouble to make sure these were good. So good that they're still working. With just 1 and 2 here, none of these 3 are working. That's amazing. What? None of these 3 are working? Holy hell. And what the F? 1, 2, 3, and 4, and this are not working? That's just weird. What the heck happened? Okay, anyway, I'm going to change this lamp board and then see if the situation improves at all. Alright, before I install this board, it makes good sense to install these LED adapter boards first. And then we can get rid of all of our flicker. This is the set from pinball.leds.ca. There's the address right there. Reasonably priced, and I've used these before, and they work just fine and dandy. This was a real tight fit, but if I had to, I would have just filed or dremeled one of these down a little bit, but yeah, that was a little tight, but other than that, no problem. Okay, well that's a first. This Bally lamp board don't fit. Stern board is actually shorter and narrower. I never knew that there was any incompatibility between Bally and Stern boards when it came to lamp driver boards, so that ain't gonna work. Okay, it has literally been a week since my last recording, and yeah, I just been, well, what happened was it was a Tuesday was the last recording when I started working on these LEDs, and a random buddy showed up, and so I didn't really do any recording. I just sat here for probably 3 hours addressing flaky sockets. And he just kind of hung out, we hung out, he was playing his tunes, you know, and YouTube doesn't like that, so I just didn't do any recording. And wasn't all that exciting, enthralling footage. Like I said, I literally just cleaned sockets with my Dremel brush, all the ones that were flaky. Then I would also do the mod here where you scuff up the space between the barrel and the bracket, like so, and add a glob of solder. I used lots of flux. It's very helpful, and that way your the base of your socket and the bracket, the barrel and the bracket, they are now basically solid as a rock, you know. If they start spinning, then your continuity isn't very good, and that can contribute to the flakiness. And then the other trick is to, let's get a better example here. That one is a side laying socket. Let's go to one that is more traditional, more of a traditionally used socket, like this guy here. So you can see over here, that's my little glob of solder. This barrel does not spin now, and the continuity is solid. And then you clip off the wire, in this case 2 wires, off of the lug here, and you solder it directly to the butt of the socket. And you make sure that can still turn, that you didn't make a solder bridge from the butt to the to anywhere else. So between cutting the wires, making this solid connection, and dremeling out the socket, I've been able to get the majority of these bulbs working. But yeah, so that was Tuesday. I spent 3 hours dealing with that. And then Wednesday was soccer, and I twisted up my knee again pretty good, so that was painful. And so Thursday, I really didn't do anything. And then Friday, what did I do Friday? Hung out with Jamie, and it was such nice weather. We were in the back, had a couple beers. I didn't do much Friday. Saturday, I went over to Kevin's. Sunday, I was entertaining the mother. Actually, the mother was semi-entertaining me, because if you just saw the video I posted, the last video I posted, you would see her tumbling out the front door. Actually, I'll add that video in right about now.
Out, I don't trust her.
Don't squish her.
Sure she doesn't.
Oh yeah. Uh-oh. We'll be able to watch that in slow motion when it's funny on that ring cam.
Oh no!
Oh yeah. But I can say that as bad as that fall looked, mother falling backwards out the front door, missing the step, she is in good shape, all things considered. She did lose a good, like, loony-sized chunk of skin on her elbow and a little more on her ankle, but her skeleton, her spine, her hip, they all seem to be relatively intact as of, well, today is Tuesday again. So that mother spill was on the Sunday, and then Monday, what happened Monday? Oh, Monday was just really busy. I've got an apartment I'm turning over, and, you know, doing lots of landlording. And then here we are, Tuesday. So that's what happened to my last week. Stuff and things. So here's where I am at with the LED situation. By the way, this power switch, I've had it on and off at least 20 times while doing this process here, and the power switch is working wonderfully. So I haven't had any issues with it. Chris McKinley, no, was it Chris? No, it was, hold on, I gotta shut this guy up. This machine will not shut up unless you pretend that all the balls are in the trough. So I just close those 3 switches, and look at that, it's all happy. Damon Huffman, I think you suggested the contact cleaner / WD-40, whatever, in the power switch. And I can tell you that after like 20 to 30 power ons and offs, I think my power switch is good. I don't think I need to replace that, so that's good. Anyway, so that's what I would do. Fix one light bulb, turn on the machine, and go find the next flaky bulb, and then deal with that, and then rinse and repeat. So I've run into another issue here where these 3 are not working at all. And they for sure were working in a previous video I checked. And these 5 are not working at all, which were also working in a previous video. You can see this power braid goes from here to this socket, to this socket, to this socket, then up to this socket, which totally works, then down to this guy and this guy. So it makes me think it's not the power braid, but it's not all 5 sockets because they were working before. So something weird's going on with this and this. So I've got to address that. So like I said, I've done the socket mod to probably, I don't know, 10 bulbs or so. And I'm probably going to do more. So here's a trick I learned from OG Shenanigander Mark Baluk in regards to kind of bulletproofing this style lamp bracket. You're not really going to be able to see all that well, but you can see this wire here. I grabbed a ground braid wire and I looped it around each socket, and then I soldered it. So I'm about to do it over here. No, this will be a better viewing for you. Check this out. Ground braid just casually looped there, and then around and around and around and around. And then I will feed this through that hole here which goes to here, which is the power. And that will tie all of the sockets together, so continuity will be rock solid. So thanks, Mark Valuk. I did that to this whole bracket. You can see right here where I tied it into the power. And I did the butt mod on a couple. This guy here. Maybe that's the only one I did on this thing. I may just go ahead while I have the hood up and do that to every single one of them, because now is as good a time as any. You can see I did it to this guy here and this guy here. Really, I could do every single one, but that's not all that fun. I did this guy. So I'm just gonna like scuff up the barrel and solder. Scuff up, solder, scuff up, solder. Then I'll flip, and that will give me good continuity. The other bulb in the equation that I haven't quite figured out is this guy here. I did the butt mod to every single one of these sockets just because I'm here. I might as well. You know, I may have spent 4 hours on bulletproofing sockets. People could argue that using new sockets might be the way to go, or yopsicles or whatever, drapsicles, which is our local version. So that's another option. Or, you know, you just spend hours of your life and very little money. So it's either time or money. It's always one or the other, right? Or both. In this case, it's time, not really a whole lot of money. I'm using some old picture hanging wire. That's what this is, picture hanging wire. It's what I used for my Quicksilver build on the lamp panel. This was just leftover stuff. It was like $7 for 25 feet. So that's already paid for. Thanks, Quicksilver. And then I'm just using a bunch of solder. That's it. It's the only expense and the expense of my time. So I'm gonna deal with this thing now. This might potentially be an actual SCR on the lamp driver, so we're gonna figure that out. And I will try and figure out what WTF is going on with these, because this is a bit of a conundrum. How were they working before and how are they not now? And if it's not a socket issue and it's not a power braid issue, then WTF is it? So, hey, look at this. I just found another one. See that? So I'm going to do the socket mod on this guy next. So I'll see you in hopefully not another week. Okay, so I did the little wire mod to this guy here. Just a little bit of dremelage, a little bit of flux, and then I almost cut my wire a little too short, but managed to just peek it through there, solder it there where the power's coming in. So this has been quote-unquote bulletproofed. This bulb still does not work though. And then what was this guy here was the guy I did the other mods to, and I did this guy since I was here. Who knows, maybe by the end of this session I may have every single bulb modified. I don't really want to like set it up in the main room and then start playing it and be like, oh, one of these bulbs down here is flaky, and then may not have as good of access in the main room as I do here, being on the hydraulic cart. So should at least do the hard to access ones at the very minimum. Anyway, that's done. I gotta figure out what's going on with these next. Okay, so I thought I would first start by tracing down the flaky white bulb, and I needed to come up with a solution for the playfield, and this is it. It's a little bit precarious, but it is propped up and just enough for me to swing out the back box door a little bit and get in there. So, the old Internet Pinball database does not have the manual or the schematics for the lamp driver board, so that's fun. So, trying to trace down this wire. This wire is a red. Well, actually, I thought it was red. It was chasing my tail there. Then I looked closer and found out that it is red yellow. So I went into the back box, and there is no red yellow anywhere on the connectors for the lamp driver. So that's fun. And then I realized this connector here looks a little corroded, so I'm gonna have to add that to the to-do list, repin that, because I don't know what that does, but that's crusty, just like this was. So I gotta label these two. So I threw the game in lamp test, and I'm going over to see how things are looking. And even in the video here, you can see that like the 3X and 4X white LEDs, they just, something's weird about those. I don't know what. But this is kind of the first glimpse, I think, of the top side of the playfield all LED'd. And have a look at this. Those are all working. And have a look at this. Those are also all working. So apparently, these are just not programmed into the attract mode. Good thing I didn't chase my tail on that for too long. So that means that I am down to one light bulb, which is actually very exciting. This yellow 40. I'm gonna do the socket mods to these two guys, 3X, 4X, see if that helps. But there we have it. We are getting freaking close to being done with LEDs. Very excited about that, and my back is very thankful. Okay, I'm on to something here. I was gonna make a post to see if anybody had the schematics for a Viper. And I was taking photos of my connectors, and lo and behold, I'm just blind. There is a red yellow wire. So I've traced it down. I'm gonna repin this, but being the end of the connector, it is very likely that from taking the connector on and off, that the solder is not very good on either end, because you pull it up like this way or down that way when you pull it off, and that strains the ends. So I think I'm going to, at the very least, reflow the ends. Let's see, how does this look? Oh, look at that. That is not a good solder joint there. I think that might be the problem, so I'll do some reflowing of these connectors, at least all the end ones. How about you? How are you doing? Yep, see, look at that. That is not good. So who knows, maybe if the 3 and 4X happen to be on some of those flaky end connectors, maybe that will help improve those guys as well. But there we go. No schematics needed. Okay, I added a little solder. Actually, for this connector here, this is where all the stuff comes in, the input connector. I did that whole connector. And then for the output connectors, going to all individual lamps, I just did the ends. This is the main suspect right here. Let's see if we can get a closer look. It doesn't look great, does it? Still looks a little, like a little volcano there. I don't know. Maybe I'll redo it. But you can kind of see where, look at the 4 end ones there, 4 end ones there, maybe like 6 end ones there. It's not the finest work in town, but should be sufficient. I think I will pop this in and cross my fingers. Okay, one last thing before I install this board. Got to figure out which transistor drives this lamp here. So this looks like a little jumper that goes over to here. I'll show you the top side. One of those wire bars. Okay. So we go from this pin here to here and then down around here. So this is our transistor in question. So I was jumpering all of the transistors that were accessible to see what light lit up. And Q46 was one that didn't seem to light up anything. So if that happens to be Q46, that would be kind of a mini lottery guess there, but let's see. No, that looks like 57 or 60. What is it? That is 57. Okay. So let's just do a little of that there so we remember. Q57 should be responsible for that lamp. All right, the board's back installed. Oh, and I did test the transistor. I just compared it to the ones. Actually, it's an SCR, not a transistor. And it tested similar to the ones beside it. So I also labeled my connectors so you can't screw that up, hopefully. And let's see what happens. I have high hopes that I don't even need to repin that connector. All right, here we go. Oh, hey, look at that. Oh, it doesn't show through the camera. How so very weird. Why is that? Do I have to go in closer? It shows, oh, I gotta zoom out further. Okay, wait. That is just weird. I could just find the exact right angle. How bizarre. How about back further? It is a trick of the mind here. How about if I just show you the damn light bulbs? Does that look like they're lighting up? There we go. It works. Okay. See, look at this. If you didn't believe me, there's proof. 1, 2, and 3. And these 5 guys do not light up in attract mode. Let's see if I can throw and test here. And voila. Okay, so I do still want to, even the 8X, I don't know, this shows up very different through the camera as it does in real life. You just have to take my word for it. Let's try and get one shot here of the whole thing. Okay, one thing I have to do, and actually I should have done while I had the friggin' board out, was install all the Siegecraft adapters. Silly pants. Should have did that. And then we can get rid of all the flicker. So I'm gonna just bulletproof a few more LEDs while I'm under the hood, and I will install the Siegecraft adapters, put the playfield down, then we can have a proper look at the finished product. Someone is being very, very vocal, but of course, as soon as I hit record, she goes all hush hush. Oh, there you are. Okay. Would you like access to your window? She just loves this window, especially when it's open. Now that I moved this platform over to this side, she'll just sit like that for hours with her face out of the window there and just being all adorable. All right, you have fun, Ellie. Well, hello there. Hi, Ellie. Are you being a good watch kitty? Yes, she is. Okay, I think I'm done. Probably spent a cumulative amount, say 5 hours worth of my life on light bulbs. And who knows, it may not be the end of it. But I did go ahead and do the socket mod to all these guys down here. And these guys here. These are the most inaccessible. I already did the socket mods to these guys when I had the drop target banks out. So basically everything from here down is modded. And a good half of these sockets as well. And I did this green one. I did this natural white one. These two guys were the flakiest of the bunch. So that's it. I'm calling it. I installed the Siegecraft adapters. Well, knockoff Siegecraft. They're just no name, I guess you would call it. But you can get them from the Drapple store at leds.ca locally for $60. Or just go to Corey Cook of London Pinball. So this is something that I'm going to have to deal with at some point. Jim at from the Sanctum said I need to like remove this and clean it, and I should do the motor as well, and this little board here. Anyway, I just saw like this little, I don't know what's going on here, and then it made me think of all the fun that's going to be had with this thing at some point. Who knows what I'll do with that, but let's just shove that under the rug for now and put the playfield down, turn on the machine, and see the fruits of my 5 hours of labor. All right, so there is the lamp driver installed with the adapters for the anti-flicker action. Got it connected here. You gotta connect this wire to controlled lamps, which are these two. So these are controlled as well. You know, your game over, tilt, high score to date, extra ball, player indicators. So any of those would work. But that's the closest one, so I went with that spot. Now, for the grand reveal, let's turn off this overhead light and power on the machine. Can't wait to throw in this back glass when the time comes, because that really is... Okay, good. I think I have the balls in there. Because that back glass really is like the highlight of this game. So, let's have a brief little look here. Maybe it would be better for me to actually open the back box so there's not so much glare, and then we'll go into lamp test too, but we can kind of admire our little attract mode. Significantly better than half burned out incandescent bulbs. So let's open this. It's probably not going to want to stay open. No, I didn't think so. And let's throw it into a lamp test. Now let's have a look at this. I'll try and, let's zoom out, turn off this light, open the back box, and have a look at that. The fruits of my labors. It looks friggin' awesome. And very happy about it. So, expense-wise, let's call it $200 in LEDs, adapters, maybe a little solder, and yeah, probably roughly 150 LEDs between general illumination on the playfield and the back box. Yeah, there's like 40 on the back box alone. But you can see all my controlled lamps on the back box working nicely. And we've got no flicker. So yeah, let's say $200 in 5 hours and we'll get you this finished product here. I am very happy about it, and I'm very happy that I can finally move on to some more fun, probably like playfield plastics. Actually, probably should wrap up this video. I really don't even know how long it is, because it has been taken over the course of, I feel like, 3 weeks. So I'll wrap this up and then we'll do some more fun stuff on the next episode.